Longhorns have done it. They win their first ever national championship in baseball and number 109 overall.
If you've dreamed what they've been dreaming, you know the road to Omaha is counted in more than miles. It is measured in moments of heartbreak and elation.
It's a tractor firing up, kids playing in a field.
Plenty has changed in the world since the first tournament was held here in 1950. What we love about the College World Series is as pure and as true as it was for old Johnny Rosenblatt himself.
We've had them season tickets for 31 years.
This is more than a place. It's a home.
These are the sounds going down in a nowhere town underneath the wide open sky.
A home to hot summer nights, to Cinderellas, and to moments that we carry forever.
If you're going to pick one moment to hit your only famous home run.
Warren Morris hit the game-winning homer out in '96.
When it comes to miracles, that's about as close as you get.
LSU wins the College World Series!
The idea that we can be greater together. That the way you play the game still matters. That anything could happen. Here in Omaha, baseball stories get told forever.
And we welcome you to the NCAA College World Series presented by Capital One. And today we get things started from TD Ameritrade Park here in Omaha as the Texas Longhorns take on the UC Irvine Anteaters. As the fans file in, we get ready for baseball. We check out the brackets for the 2014 College World Series. The winner of this one will take on the winner of our nightcap, Louisville and Vanderbilt. And then coming up tomorrow, it'll be Texas Tech and TCU. Ole Miss going up against Virginia. Hi, folks. Thanks for joining us. John Shambi alongside former USC Trojan Aaron Boone. We look at this matchup, the Longhorns with all the history, a record 35 appearances, 6 times they won the national title. Meanwhile, for the Anteaters, just their second time here. Let's go big picture, though. What do we look for in the CWS?
Pitching and defense, Boog. Hitting it in college baseball is a very difficult thing these days. Runs will be at a premium, and when you add in TD Ameritrade Ballpark, which is spacious and the wind routinely blows in, we will see teams playing for early runs.
Okay, let's check out our headlines for this year's College World Series. What to look for. Start with this. Just 2 national seeds are here, the fewest since they expanded the field to 64 teams in 1999. It's Virginia and TCU. 3 Texas teams are here, besides the Longhorns, a first-time appearance for Texas Tech and also TCU, and no team from the Pac-12 making it for the first time since '96. We talked about pitching and defense being a key, preventing runs. We got ourselves a good pitching matchup today. Andrew Morales and Nathan Thornhill. What about the matchup?
Well, let's start with Andrew Morales for UCI. One of the best starting pitchers in college baseball today. And after going 21-1 in his junior college career, he is now 21-2 in his 2 years at UC Irvine. Controlling his emotions early will go a long way in determining how dominant he can be today. As for the Texas Longhorns, Nathan Thornhill, who after being drafted as a junior, decided to come back for his senior year. He boasts one of the best changeups in all of college baseball. Locating his fastball, though, early goes a long way, John, in setting up that great changeup.
So a great pitching matchup. Runs will be at a premium. 2 teams that like to play small ball going head-to-head. It's Texas going up against UC Irvine. It's our College World Series opener here at TD Ameritrade Park. First pitch coming up.
This is our time.
Irvine is going back to Omaha for the second time in program history.
The Longhorns are back, and for the 35th time, the eyes of Texas are upon Omaha.
The NCAA College World Series is presented by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn 1.5% cash back on every purchase. And in part by Little Caesars Pizza.
Back here in Omaha, TD Ameritrade Park, as the 2014 College World Series gets ready to go. Texas and UC Irvine. Time now to join the third member of our team. We send it down to Jamie Sire.
Thanks, John. You know, sometimes we're reminded that sports takes a back seat at times to more important things in life, and nobody knows that better than Andrew Morales, who will take the mound for UC Irvine today. His sister Emily recently won her 3-year battle with leukemia, and she is definitely his #1 fan.
She was diagnosed in 2011 and declared cancer-free just this past January. So we're pretty thankful as a family, and it's been quite a journey, really bumpy road. Baseball kind of served as a dual purpose for myself and her, kind of a distraction for her while she was doing treatments, and the fact that you can go to a game and not really have to worry about, you know, getting poked with a needle, because she hated it. You can count on 2 hands how many games she missed. I played for something bigger than a championship, and I just played for her, and in her name, that's something that kind of just driven me to be better on the field, better as a person, better as a brother.
And Emily is here today along with his other sister, Christine. They would not miss this for the world. In fact, Emily missed her 8th grade graduation just to see him pitch in regionals. He also has M written on the inside of his hat, guys.
Yeah, inspiration indeed for one of the nation's best pitchers, Andrew Morales. All right, time now to take a look at our Capital One starting lineups for the UC Irvine Anteaters. And here's the way Mike Gillespie's team will go about it. Top 3 guys in the order, really the key. They are, out of the 8 teams, 8th in terms of scoring runs. Sparks, though, top of the order, a guy that will get things going for them. An ability to get on base is huge. And they will go up against Nathan Thornhill, the senior from Cedar Park, Texas. Aaron Boone.
Well, it's been a dominant season for the ace of the Texas Longhorn rotation. As we talked about, an outstanding straight changeup, but early on, controlling the walk situation. 35 and 97 2/3, not that bad, but locating his fastball, especially down in the strike zone, really helps set up what is one of the sport's really good straight changeups.
And there is that scouting report, and you talk about going after the lefties, maybe see the curveball a little bit more.
Yeah, and the cutters is something that's really appeared this year for him, something he likes to keep right-handed hitters off balance with, off his fastball, so he can set up that really good straight changeup.
So we get ready to go here in Omaha. The Anteaters and the Longhorns going head-to-head. And there's the skipper of UC Irvine, Mike Gillespie, his 7th season as the Irvine head coach. First time that he has taken the Anteaters to the World Series. His 5th overall College World Series appearance. Champions with USC back in 1998. You're talking about a program that was actually not in play. It was a defunct program from 92 to 02. Meanwhile, on the other side, Augie Garrido, national champ 5 different times, twice with Texas. And we have 2 of the elder statesmen coaching, as Garrido at 75, Mike Gillespie at 74.
And a relationship that goes all the way back to their playing days in college.
So ready to go here in Omaha. Nathan Thornhill will deliver. And a strike, we are underway at TD Ameritrade. Taylor Sparks, the leadoff guy, a 2nd-round pick by the Cincinnati Reds. Does an excellent job defensively. And quickly Thornhill ahead, 0-2.
And Thornhill right out of the gate trying to establish that fastball, trying to establish it down. The more he can do that, that gets him to that straight changeup, which is his ultimate weapon.
This is up and away. Thornhill in the early going, they used him as their closer. And Curtis, their closer, they weren't sure about his health. He transitioned into the rotation, did this senior, and he has been their ace.
Well, there's the first look at the changeup. It's a little up and out of the zone, not exactly where he wanted, but Curtis being able to take over the closer's role, and now Thornhill being able to move into what is a very good starting rotation. That depth all of a sudden is probably the ultimate reason why the Longhorns are back in Omaha.
Augie Garrido talked about concern about him possibly struggling early. Slapped the other way. Marlowe on the grass. And safe at first. And racing for second now. There goes Sparks. And he's there. Good heads-up play by Taylor Sparks.
Well, Taylor Sparks, John, is not your prototypical leadoff hitter. A big guy, power, can run. Just kind of punches it to Marlowe's left, who's an outstanding second baseman. He does a great job of getting to it. And Casey Clemens over there at first just can't quite scoop it. It's a difficult chance. Clemens has been outstanding defensively, but then the base running, the wherewithal to understand where it is, understanding the speed, and he gets into scoring position with nobody out and likely sets up a sacrifice situation here for the Anteaters.
Yeah, Chris Rabago already squaring around. Pops it in the air. And Gerwitz on a bounce throws him out. So he's able to execute the sacrifice. 23 sacrifice bunts now for Chris Rabago on the season. That's the way they play.
Yeah, and in a perfect world, like Rabago did there, you want to bunt it towards the third baseman, force him to come in and make the play. Makes it very easy for the runner at second to get to third base. And now set the table for Irvine's best hitter with less than 2 outs and a runner at third.
And here is Connor Spencer. This team that doesn't have a lot of pop. And Spencer's a guy with good doubles power.
And I think this may be a spot where they really pitch around Spencer.
Ball. 1 foot in the batter's box, please.
And not a surprise, John, the infield playing in to start this game. We talked about runs being at a premium, and with 2 ace pitchers on the hill, want to try and cut down any and all runs, especially early. 1 run goes a long way in this game.
Like he was a little late there.
Almost as though 1-0, understanding with the base open, thinking maybe, hey, they're going to pitch around me. Thornhill challenges them with a fastball and perhaps looking off speed, able to throw it right past Spencer.
Here's a 1-1.
Ball that's out.
And a good eye there. Spencer's a guy, we talk about hitting third, and he's expected to produce runs, but he does a great job getting on base. His OBP on the year, 459, which is tremendous. He gets hit by a lot of pitches, 19 of the year, and walked 23 times.
And I think if you're Spencer, this is where you get that straight change, that 2-1 count. He snuck one by you earlier, and there it is.
Little tapper, Thornhill. And they get the Anteaters' best hitter, and now 2 away with a man at third. That's a big out.
Yeah, and the fastball on the 1-0 count, the fact that he was willing to throw it, got Spencer off the changeup in the 2-1 count, a pitch he would ordinarily probably sit on. It's a fastball down to start, and then he challenges him. You can see Spencer's late, probably looking off speed, and now here in that 2-1 count, there you see the really good straight change at 75 miles an hour. Spencer out in front, a little harmless comebacker, and now Texas with an opportunity to wiggle off the hook here in the first.
And it's Jerry McClanahan. A pitch in the dirt. Barrera stops it. McClanahan, not a ton of power, only 1 homer on the year, but again, another guy who gives good at bats, tough out, gets on base. And it's 1-1.
And, you know, John, you can sense UC Irvine knows the book on Thornhill. They're aware of that changeup, and you can see these hitters almost a little behind on their takes and on their swings on the fastball, probably out of respect for Thornhill's changeup and his willingness to throw it at any time.
There's that curveball.
And perhaps getting away with a bit of a mistake there. That didn't have a lot of break on it. It was elevated in the zone, really just a hanging curveball. And catches the top part of the strike zone.
Thornhill ahead 1-2. As McClanahan spoils that one. The Anteaters, who had to go on the road for each of their regionals. A scoring threat here with Sparks at third, but there's 2 outs.
Well, that's up.
And you can hear the plate umpire Tony Walsh say that's up.
I think it definitely was another breaking ball there. Clearly Thornhill's probably 3rd or 4th best pitch. It was about the fastball change and that cutter for Nathan Thornhill.
See what he goes with here. The 2-2. Got him swinging. Thornhill gets out of the jam despite the error. We'll go to the bottom of the 1st, and the Longhorns coming up to hit. Back here in Omaha, we go to the home half of the 1st. Texas coming up to hit. Scoreless game. John Shambi, Aaron Boone, and Jamie Sire with you. Let's take a look at our starting lineups brought to you by Capital One. Yeah, they got to focus on for the Longhorns. Again, a team that don't score a ton, but Mark Payton, he's their best player, their best hitter, and he's been great in the NCAA tournament. Yeah, that lineup for the Longhorns will go up against Andrew Morales, the right-hander who is the ace, one of the top pitchers in the country.
Yeah, 4-pitch mix, fastball, curve, slider, and change. One thing will be interesting to watch early is, does he have a better feel for the slider or the curveball? Usually it's the slider, but in the Super Regional, it was more about the curveball because he didn't have great feel for the slider. You see the fastball typically in the upper 80s, low 90s, mixing that curve and slider. And Mike Gillespie talked about before the game, he will be amped up for this game. Controlling his emotions and keeping the ball down will be key for Morales.
Mike Gillespie with the luxury of trotting his ace out there. He's got a good pitching staff led by this guy, the Big West Pitcher of the Year. Will face Brooks Marlowe to start things off. Marlowe with a rare error, just his 3rd of the season in the top of the 1st.
Yeah, really, it was a really good play that just kind of an unfortunate bounce for Marlowe turned it into an E4.
Ball.
Marlowe without great speed, but does a great job getting on base.
Yeah, 392 on base percentage. As a leadoff man, you will take that, especially, John, in college baseball.
Augie Garrido talked with us about a guy that he coached, the younger brother of Jason Giambi, Jeremy Giambi. And he said, I remember seeing the A's hit him leadoff when he never hit higher than 5th for us. And I said, what are they doing? And then he said he realized it. He said, well, Jeremy had the ability to get on base, score runs.
And essentially that's what it comes down to. In a perfect world, yes, you want speed at the top coupled with the ability to get on. But if you don't have those luxuries, if a guy can get on close to 400, you take that.
Yeah, there are only so many Tim Raines out there.
Exactly.
So Morales falling behind early, 3-1.
Ball 4.
And he walks him. All right, we take a look at how Texas and UC Irvine plan for success. It's brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. And here's some numbers to look for in this game and whenever these teams play. Most sack bunts in the NCAA this year. Texas #1, UC Irvine #2. So they're going to bunt a lot. We've already seen Mike Gillespie's team put down a sacrifice bunt.
Although Ben Johnson in the 2-hole for Texas, not a great bunter. So this may be one situation where you don't see the Longhorns going to the sacrifice early. Well, there they go. Johnson, an outstanding athlete, speed, strength, can really fly.
Augie Garrido says the fastest and the strongest guy on this team, just a sophomore. See Sparks creeping in at third.
Ball. Time is called.
Well, and here's what we talked about with Morales. Command usually a strength of his, but early in ball games he can be amped up. You sprinkle in the fact that it's game 1 of the College World Series and 25,000 plus people. Really want to get a grip of his emotions, ramp it down, and really start commanding the ball down. Walks is not what he wants, or certainly what UCI wants, because they want Morales to be able to pitch deep into this ball game to give them their best opportunity.
So Texas with a man at first and nobody out, same way UC Irvine started.
And John, I really think the square around the bunt here is just probably 3 consecutive takes all the way by Johnson. After walking the leadoff man, probably Johnson may be up there to take a strike. And now you'll probably see him fake square around again and take all the way on 3-0.
So some struggles in the early going for Andrew Morales.
And this could be a spot where if you're McClanahan or pitching coach for the Anteaters.
Yeah, Danny Babona's going to go out and talk with Morales. Babona, who was a star at UC Irvine. In fact, he was the ace of their staff the last time and only time they got here to Omaha, 2007.
And I like how he's taking his time walking out, really trying to slow things down and kind of set the tone for Andrew Morales. Slow things down right now, back off.
It's understandable how the nerves can affect a guy playing on this stage. Let me ask you this, from a position player standpoint, how do the nerves affect you that first time up?
No question. I think the first time up, more for me though, was in the field. You want that first ball hit to you in a big spot or on an unfamiliar stage, so to speak. And that really goes a long way, I think, in getting you into the flow of the ball game. And right here now, you're on defense, your pitchers walk, you kind of get back on your heels a little, and now all of a sudden you're in a pressure situation here in the first inning.
And now Augie Garrido's got his guy up here, Mark Payton, their top player. Pushes a bunt to third, Sparks up with it, and the runners advance. One of those, will probably give him a sack bunt on that, but he was on the move as he put it down.
Well, it's definitely a sack. You know the corners are pinching in, expecting the sacrifice bunt, but as a bunter there, when you can really handle the bat, as Mark Payton can, you maybe square a little later and try to be perfect with it, especially with no strikes. He executed a nice bunt, but a nice play down there at third by Taylor Sparks, but sacrifice successful and a good opportunity now for the Longhorns.
Tres Barrera up here, the freshman catcher. And again, these teams first and second in the nation in sacrifice bunts, Texas and UC Irvine.
Interesting to see UC Irvine here conceding the run in the middle of the field, in the middle of the diamond with their second and shortstop. And that's due to probably 2 runners now in scoring position, and really want to prevent that big inning, because UCI knows that if they get down by more than a run, it could be a long road uphill for them.
Mike Gillespie told us we're trying to win the game 1-0, and if we can't, we want to win it 2-1.
Yep.
And if we can't do that, we want to win it 3-2.
You know, interesting to see here, Barrera, 2 big swings with the middle of the field playing back, the ace on your mound. It's probably more of a situation where you want to shorten up, try all you can to put it in play, and try and keep it through the middle of the field.
See how shallow the outfielders are playing. This park plays big. The wind is really whipping in, though. That's a big out right there as he got him to chase. 2 down now.
Well, he went to the slider, and we talked about which breaking ball it's going to be this afternoon for Morales. In this at-bat, it was the slider. Really 3 difficult, tough swings for Barrera. It doesn't really appear as though he saw the ball particularly well. And Morales with a big strikeout here to get that second out.
So now the top strikeout man in the NCAA, Andrew Morales, with that last punch out of Barrera. And here's Barrera's Summer League teammate, C.J. Hinojosa. Hinojosa, their shortstop. They moved him in the lineup as they bumped him up to the 5 spot. Augie Garrido tweaking his offense just a little bit. 2 in scoring position with 2 down.
Yeah, and Augie talked about Hinojosa playing on a lot of elite teams growing up, USA teams. He's been on big stages before, and he feels like in these situations, he saw it in the regional and the super regional, and now he just has that sense of rising to the occasion, and the bigger the moment, the better he performs. That's why he's moved up into the middle of the order. And he appears very comfortable, laying off 2 sliders with ease to get into a hitter's count. And Morales challenged him. He looks like he's trying to work the ball the other way, just a little late there, which shows you Morales probably does have a good life, at least on his fastball, despite struggling with that command early.
Time called.
And now time called.
All right, let's go, guys.
Tony Walsh trying to move things along.
That peak down to third. Sparks playing deep. A little drag bunt could be in play here for Hinojosa.
Wouldn't chase that slider. UC Irvine and Texas getting the 2014 College World Series underway. The winner of this one will take on the winner of our nightcap, 8 Eastern. Vanderbilt and Louisville getting together. But first things first, Morales falling behind 3-1, struggling with command here in the bottom of the first. Right through there.
Good execution there, John. 2-seam fastball. He moves in to the inside corner, and as a hitter with first base open, you know he's not just automatically going to give in, so you really want to set your sights away. I think a good take there by Hinojosa on a ball running in on the corner inside.
So it's all filled up with 2 outs, 2nd and 3rd. Carried for the folks at home, the difference, a 2-seam fastball and a 4-seam fastball.
Well, 2-seamer's just going to tail, move in toward, on a right-handed pitcher is going to move in towards the right-handed hitter, preferably even have some sink, whereas that 4-seam's going to be more true, perhaps a little more velocity, but real straight.
Here's another 3-2. Hit softly on the ground. Sparks will charge. Got him. And both pitchers wriggle out of jams in the first. Andrew Morales with nice work. We're headed to the 2nd in Omaha. Now, folks celebrate Father's Day with a little basketball. The NBA Finals on ABC. The Spurs up 3-1, trying to close it out. It all starts with NBA Countdown, 7:30. The Heat and the Spurs. Game 5 Sunday at 8 on ABC. Now, right here in Omaha, we got ourselves a Game 1 the 2014 College World Series as we go to the 2nd.
How about the Spurs being up 3-1, though?
And thumping them multiple
in
times.
Miami.
That's the part that sort of surprised me.
Yeah.
Well, Nathan Thornhill, who was able to pitch around a first inning infield single and an error, back to work. And here's the DH, Jonathan Munoz. Mike Gillespie says, even though Spencer is their best hitter, this guy has been as consistent as just about anybody. He got 0 playing time last year, 4 at-bats last year, and Mike Gillespie owned it. He said, we screwed up.
Yep.
He obviously is a better hitter than we thought last year. Called him our biggest surprise. Mike Gillespie has really put this anteater program into the spotlight nationally.
Go. Not much.
74 years young, played at USC, played against Augie Garrido when Augie was at Fresno State. And there's that two-seamer that clips the inside corner. Strike two.
Well, I think taking all the way there, that two-seam fastball running over the heart of the plate. You see kind of Muno shake his head like maybe he did have the take on, and realizing pretty good pitch to hit there on a 3-1 count.
Here's a payoff pitch. Got him to swing through it. Second strikeout for Thornhill.
Well, just challenge him with the fastball away. This one probably runs a little bit up and away off the plate. Munoz protecting there, though, with 2 strikes. And after falling behind 3-0, a big first out here for Nathan Thornhill in the second.
So one down. Here's Grant Palmer. Strike one to the second baseman.
You know, it's interesting to look at the Texas Longhorn outfield, kind of playing medium depth, especially when you consider where UC Irvine's outfield was playing. Really, really shallow. And John, I think on a day like today, in a big ballpark, obviously, you see kind of medium depth out there, but that flag is really whipping in today. And typically it blows in, but it's a strong gust today. I think more and more you'll see outfield shortening up.
Chopper over the head of Gerwitz down the left field line. Palmer racing for second. And the throw off line. So a man in scoring position, and that ends a streak. The Longhorns had gone 41 innings without allowing an extra base hit.
Yeah, and this isn't your traditional extra base hit, as it hits the hard ground in front of home plate and just bounces over a drawn in Gerwitz at third base. And perhaps that outfield being a little deeper than maybe they should with the lack of extra base power from UCI. Takes a little bit longer for the left fielder to come up with that ball, and allows Palmer to get to second base.
Had the pickoff play on, but Palmer back in. So two teams not known for offense, but with scoring opportunities in the early going. Paulino with 13 sacrifice bunts this year. Takes a strike.
One out, definitely not a sacrifice situation. Paulino, just a .214 average this year, but does have 5 home runs, which ties with Taylor Sparks. So not a big guy, but a little bit of sock from the left side.
Take his walks as well. Bounces that one to first. Clemens will handle it. Down to third, Palmer, 2 away. And here is Adam Alcantara. The left fielder, just a freshman. Mike Gillespie said he's really earned his playing time.
Yeah, he's done a good job in earning that playing time. Yet to have an extra base hit, and for that reason you see Gerwitz playing in at third base with 2 outs, just in case he has a mind of dropping one down to try and get an early run.
To the right side, Marlowe collects. And Thornhill out of the inning. Into 1.5 here at TD Ameritrade. We're scoreless. Back here in Omaha, the College World Series. As we go to the bottom of the second, no score. UC Irvine at Texas. Time now to recap the mayhem brought to you by Allstate in the regionals. UCI took on overall #1 seed Oregon State, and it was Grant Palmer with the bases loaded knocking in a run, and then the Anteaters able to close things out. They would knock off the Beavers and advance with a 4-2 win. Then in game 2 of the Supers, it was Andrew Morales continuing his postseason dominance with a shutout against Oak State, and Irvine returning to Omaha. 2007, the other time that they got here. Here's Colin Shaw.
Really remarkable when you consider that UC Irvine lost 8 consecutive conference games to end the regular season. A Big West Conference that Mike Gillespie talked about being extremely underrated this year. A deep, deep conference out west.
That one ripped to right. Paulino's going to chase after it. Shaw racing for second, and he'll stop there.
Well, he went curveball here to Shaw. Just kind of flipped it up there, and Shaw does a good job of staying back. It's down in the zone, down off the plate, kind of in that happy zone typically for a left-handed hitter. He pulls it into that corner. An easy leadoff double here for the Longhorns. Now perhaps setting up another situation for a sacrifice bunt.
Fifth double of the year for Colin Shaw. And now Madison Carter, the designated hitter. He's got 13 sack bunts on the year. And make it 14 as Sparks handles it.
Well, nice execution here by Carter, who just, again, with a man on second, want to force that third baseman to come in and make the play. Sparks handles it easily and flips on to first to allow Texas to have a scoring opportunity here with less than 2 outs and a man on third. Although, I just have a hard time giving up an out. With a guy like Madison Carter, who's at an on-base percentage over 400s, hit close to 350 this year. Got a strikeout pitcher on the mound with the bottom of your order. I tend to lean still, despite runs being at a premium in college baseball. I still like 3 opportunities there for my guys to swing the bat.
Yeah, a guy who's hard to get out. I get you. Casey Clemens stares at that breaking ball, the son of former big leaguer, the great Roger Clemens. And yes, he does pitch, although he didn't this year, dealing with a shoulder impingement. Good defensively at first.
We're talking to Skip Johnson, the outstanding pitching coach for the Longhorns, talking about Casey Clemens and probably getting back on the bump with more regularity next year. Talks about him being a real pitching prospect. There is Skip Johnson, but also a guy with some thunder in his bat.
Little dribbler along first, and Morales, they're going to say no tag. Everybody's safe.
Wow, John, I think he just got a little confused. He had plenty of time, and I thought for a second there that he composed himself and was going to set his feet, which he did, putting himself in a good position to throw it to first after he did miss the tag. Starts out, it was good execution. He misses the tag, which is fine. Now he sets his feet, checks the runner at third, knowing, okay, I'm okay. Man, he needed to peek at third to see that the runner wasn't going to be able to score. That way he could have recorded the out at first with ease, but a big break there for Texas.
So they're at the corners. And a little safety squeeze, gets by everyone, and Shaw to score. Longhorns lead it 1-0.
Well, nice execution here on that safety squeeze. Morales perhaps being a little greedy, tried to make the outstanding play. and probably rushed himself a little bit in his haste to get the ball to home plate and get the ball to the catcher. He pulled up a little quick. It allowed the ball to get past, and once it did, a base runner for Gurwitz and a first run of this College World Series.
So the Longhorns using that small ball and jump out 1-0 on Mike Gillespie's team. Back to the top of the order. Here's Brooks Marlowe. Marlowe left stranded in that first inning. Aaron, this is a big spot for Andrew Morales to keep things at a 1-run deficit.
Yeah, and the way this inning is unfolded, you kind of made a mistake to allow a base runner on the chopper back. Then you couldn't make the play on a bunt, but you're only down 1-0, and you're one pitch from getting out of this inning. It's really about backing off your emotions, controlling yourself, executing your pitches, and if you do that, you get your team back in the dugout down just 1 run, having avoided disaster.
Here's a 1-1.
And John, I think it'll be interesting now to see how Morales reacts to those last 2 plays. Is it something that he kind of shakes off and says, all right, let's put it behind us, relax, get back to pitching your game, don't worry about it? Or is it something that gets compounded? And that'll be something to watch here in this inning and going forward. Is that something that unnerves him and rattles him?
Marlowe spoils that offering and the count even. Texas Longhorns making their record-setting 35th appearance of the College World Series, 6 times the national champion, twice under Augie Garrido. Augie Garrido's talked about the pressure on the Longhorns. Their expectations, make no mistake about it.
Yeah, compared it to kind of being a major league club. You are in a bubble playing in Austin, playing in this Longhorn program, where there's as much scrutiny, as much attention as anywhere in college baseball, and with that comes some pressure. But he thinks that can be a positive for his club too, because they do play in a pressure situation more than most programs.
Most appearances, most wins. USC with the most championships, Texas with the second most championships. Longhorns last year were last in the Big 12. Line into center field. Castro will play it on a bounce. Clemens will stop at third, and they're loaded.
Well, another quality at bat from Brooks Marlowe, who walked in his first plate appearance here with 2 strikes. Just really thinking up the middle the other way. It's a breaking ball down and in that he kind of pulls his hands inside. And with UC Irvine, though, their outfield playing so shallow, forces the third base coach to hold up the runner rounding third base, but giving the Longhorns a bases loaded opportunity here with 1 out. In the middle of their order about to come up.
Ben Johnson walked his first time. Morales, though, still an opportunity to get out of this. Andrew Morales, who was drafted 71st overall by the Cardinals, went undrafted after a brilliant junior year. There are a couple of seniors matching up, Andrew Morales and Nathan Thornhill.
And this definitely a spot now, especially with 2 strikes, where you want to go for the strikeout if you're Andrew Morales. Johnson, who runs extremely well, a tough guy to double up. Now with 2 strikes, you've got some pitches to work with. And if he can maybe get that slider starting it on the plate, look to try and get some chases out of the strike zone, could go a long way in helping him get out of this inning.
All loaded up here, bottom of the second, and Texas has already struck first. Good pitch right there, biting down and away, and there is that strikeout, 2 away.
Well, that could be one of the real huge pitches, Boog, in this College World Series at this point for UC Irvine. Really in trouble here, Morales. With the bases loaded, struggling a little bit with his command. He gets ahead with an off-speed pitch, then a fastball. He runs in on the hands for the foul out, and then there's the good slider that he starts on the bottom of the plate, breaks it down and away. Johnson with no chance. And now an opportunity for Morales to avoid disaster.
Dangerous hitter here in Mark Payton. Laid down a sacrifice bunt his first time. Payton, who has that streak, 101 straight games of getting on base. Mind-boggling.
It is amazing. A .467 on base percentage. 101, that kind of consistency. To be able to hang your hat on that as a club, huge.
Yeah, basically for 101 straight games, you come to the park. What's going to happen tonight? I only know one thing. Mark Payton's going to be on base.
And where offense is difficult in this day and age.
Right.
And to know you've got a guy that's going to be on night in and night out in the middle of this lineup, huge for the Longhorns.
Here comes a 2-0. That clips the corner.
Well, good little get it in there slider on the outside part of the plate. A gutsy pitch and well executed by Morales there behind 2-0. The ability to go off speed to get himself an easy strike and get back in the count.
That pitch count getting ratcheted up at 41 with 2 outs in the second.
And that is something that could certainly become a problem. And although this Texas offense isn't a juggernaut, not what we're used to seeing in past years, it is a team, John, that works the count, that will see pitches, that gets on base. And as a result, through the first 2 innings here, they have got Morales, the ace of the Anteaters, pitch count at a high number.
Casey Clemens at third, Zane Gerwitz at second, Brooks Marlowe over there at first, all loaded up with a count 2-2 for Mark Payton. Young man from the south side of Chicago. And gloved nicely by Morales. And all things considered, the Anteaters got to be happy that they get out of that jam, allowing just 1 run. 2 in the books here at TD Ameritrade. And from the College World Series, the Longhorns lead it 1-0. Back here in Omaha, and Andrew Morales able to get out of that mess, allowing just 1 run. Longhorns lead it 1-0 as we go to the third. John Chambee, Aaron Boone, and Jamie Sire. Game 1 of the 2014 College World Series. Our nightcap, Louisville and Vanderbilt at 8 Eastern. As Justin Castro fouls 1 away. Justin Castro, then Taylor Sparks, and then Chris Rabago. What's your thought on what you've seen so far from Nathan Thornhill?
Still feeling his way through, trying to find that command, but he's made some big pitches when he's had to. He hasn't had to overuse his changeup. He's really tried to establish the fastball. The command going forward will be the key for him. You know, I continue to look out at the defense and the outfield for the Texas Longhorns, especially as we're here at the bottom of the UC Irvine order. That outfield seems a little deep, John, with the wind blowing in as hard as it is.
In the air, right field, Shaw. And chasing in towards the line, 1 out. So the Longhorns with one out, leading this one 1-0 in the third. We mentioned coming up tonight, it's Louisville and Vanderbilt on ESPN2. That's at 8 Eastern. And then tomorrow at 3 Eastern, it'll be Texas Tech and TCU and Ole Miss and Virginia. Only 2 national seeds left in this tournament, and it's TCU and Virginia. So the fewest national seeds to appear in Omaha since they expanded the field to 64 back in '99. Taylor Sparks with an infield single his first time. That one ripped towards the left field corner and well hit. It'll touch down and bang up against the wall. And Sparks is 2 for 2.
Well, and Mike Gillespie talked about he's a legit major league prospect at third base. Power, speed, you'll see the big size. He picks on a hanging breaking ball down in the zone here and pummels this ball in the corner. Good job of getting that foot down early. Recognizes the pitch early, knew it was a breaking ball. This ball is scorched down in the corner. Now an opportunity with the best hitters for the Irvine Anteaters coming up.
Sparks now in the NCAA tournament 13 for 26. I don't even need a calculator. That's 500. We'll be wheeling the abacus in for you later.
I knew that too.
Ball and a strike to Rabago. Chris Rabago, their shortstop, bothered by a little bit of a shoulder issue. He hasn't taken infield in about 3 months, but he can really throw when healthy.
I mean, really gotten through it. And Mike Gillespie talked about his arm strength being a strength of his, but playing at just kind of average right now, just grinding through the shoulder injury.
Rockies picked him in the 13th round. Mike Gillespie said that he likely will play catcher as a professional. These two teams like the small ball. A lot of sacrifice bunts. Yeah, both sides really anchored by their pitching. The Longhorns 6th in the nation in ERA, and Mike Gillespie, his group, we told you earlier, they want to win low-scoring affairs. And they have their ace, that guy, Andrew Morales, on the mound. Meanwhile, Nathan Thornhill dealing with a man in scoring position in 1 out.
Well, continues to challenge him with that fastball. You wonder now, with 2 strikes, going up top with the fastball, if that now gets him to the changeup. Trying to get that swing and miss here.
Popped up right side, Clemens. So the Longhorns on top here, 1-0. And in the bottom of the second, little roller up along first. Morales didn't put the tag on the runner. Then the safety squeeze worked to perfection right side. Run comes in, and that's where we are. Back up the middle, and on a hop, fielded nicely there by Hinojosa. Out at first. Close play at first. C.J. Hinojosa up the middle. Fine defense by the Longhorn shortstop. Saving a run right there. It stays 1-0. Back in Omaha, bottom of the third, Mike Gillespie and the UC Irvine Anteaters trailing the Texas Longhorns 1-0. Let's take another look at that last play.
Yeah, clearly a missed call here at first base, and really Spencer beats it kind of easily at first base there. So the first break of this ball game goes the way of the Texas Longhorns because Taylor Sparks was running all the way and was going to score easy from second base on that play in what would be a tie ball game. Texas gets the call.
Two teams not known for offense, and it's only 1-0, but they've had a slew of scoring opportunities. Texas has already left 5 on base. And the Anteaters have left 3.
It's just watching Mike Gillespie right there as we had the camera on him. Saw him react kind of frustratingly. I'm assuming somebody told him the replay. You can see him kind of grumbling there. He went out in between innings to argue a little bit with the first base umpire. Clearly someone told him that he was definitely safe, so a frustrating missed opportunity for the Anteaters.
Doug Williams, our first base umpire. Game 1 of the 2014 College World Series. And here's what you're talking about. Just a little chat.
Yeah. A firm little chat. He's talking about, that wasn't as close. That wasn't that close of a play. That was a bit of a miss. That's a miss there.
You played for him at USC. Were you on the receiving end of any firm little chats?
I got some great tongue latherings, like only Skip Gillespie can.
That's pretty well hit right field. Paulino there. And 1 away.
He just has a classic way about him of laying into you in a calm, firm manner. He would do that with umpires, with his own players. But a guy that is beloved by his players and certainly respected.
And here is Hinojosa, who made the play up the middle. Did a good job getting to that ball. Connor Spencer was ruled out at first. Little bouncer foul of third.
Well, and it was part of the reason he was able to get to that ball is the ball was hit extremely sharply up the middle. Was that the Longhorns incorporated a little bit of a shift. They had him shaded up the middle to take away the middle of the field against the left-handed hitter. And Hinojosa turned in an outstanding play.
Ball.
Longhorn shortstop grounded to third his first time. And that one foul of third, now 2-2.
Let's take a look at how the Longhorns were playing Spencer. You see Hinojosa kind of really shaded up the middle, gets a good break, kind of tackles that ball at him, and strong throw to first. Spencer tried to help out the first base umpire.
Got a tag. Batters out.
Got him a chase there. Morales with his third strikeout.
Looks like Morales starting to settle in. Another slider that he starts at the bottom of the zone. That slider that's helped get him out of some jams so far early in the ball game. Starts at the bottom of the zone, and by the time it breaks and Hinojosa commits, it's another strikeout for the college baseball strikeout leader.
Paints the outside corner with a good fastball against Colin Shaw, who scored the only run of the game after doubling in the second. Back up the middle, second hit of the game for Shaw. He's 2 for 2.
You know what? And with 2 outs and nobody on, a big hit by Colin Shaw. You've got Andrew Morales, the ace for the Anteaters on the hill, who has thrown a lot of pitches the first couple innings. Now all of a sudden an opportunity to have an easy inning And from a pitch count standpoint, give him a chance to go deeper in this game. Shaw hits a bullet to extend this inning, and now an opportunity to ratchet up that pitch count some more.
Yeah, he's dying for the 1-2-3 and send Thornhill right back out there. Madison Carter, the DH.
Ball.
Put down a sac bunt his first time. The Longhorns, one of 3 Texas teams here. Texas Tech, TCU, and UT. That one to left. Alcantara plays it on a hop. And back-to-back hits.
Well, back-to-back hits and sharp hits by the Texas Longhorn. And now Morales finds himself in another jam here in the third with 2 outs.
And the batter now, Casey Clemens. He hit that roller along first where Morales had a chance to put the tag on him. Longhorns have already left 5 today.
Ball.
Morales just has not been able to find his groove. Again, coming off that brilliant performance in the Super Regionals, the clincher. The 5-hit shutout against Oklahoma State. Going the distance, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts on just 112 pitches. There's that slider.
And that's a good one right there. That's the one that he wants to bury down and into the lefties. He starts and really looks like a fastball right in the heart of the plate. And watch the downward action. Just buries it, and Casey Clemens swings over the top of it. Opens up a lot of options now for Morales. Can go back to that, maybe even bury it a little bit more.
And the 1-2 is stopped by McClanahan, but it kicks away, can't find it. Colin Shaw, Madison Carter will move up the 90 feet.
Well, he did try and bury it a little bit more, but this, not much of an opportunity for McClanahan as this ball is well out in front of home plate. Probably tried to be a little bit too nasty with it, and Clemens really recognizes it early, is able to lay off.
He got hit in the throat.
And now you take away the force opportunity for the Anteaters. So McClanahan, I think, took it off the throat. You heard our home plate umpire who's wired up.
Tony Walsh just giving McClanahan a little extra time. McClanahan did a good job in terms of blocking that. He squared up, but it bounced so far in front and then hit him up high, and the spin kicked it off to the right. And now a big spot, 2 in scoring position with 2 down. The 2-2 got him swinging. 4th strikeout for Morales. The Longhorns lead 2 more. They've left 7 here today. Andrew Morales, the ace of the UC Irvine staff. Texas leads 1-0. We move to the 4th here at TD Ameritrade. And from Omaha, the Longhorns leading the Anteaters 1-0. And a reminder, ESPN's coverage of the FIFA World Cup continues tonight on ESPN at 8:30 from Group C. It's the Ivory Coast and Japan. The 2014 FIFA World Cup presented by Adidas tonight, 8:30 on ESPN. Also live on Watch ESPN.
Who you got in that one, Boone?
I'll go Ivory Coast.
Okay. I'm with you.
But the Netherlands beating Spain 5-1.
Upending. That's it.
Don't see a lot of 5 goals scored, especially against Spain. Jerry McClanahan 0 for 1, struck out swinging his first time. you look at Nathan Thornhill, a senior who was drafted last year by the Astros, elected to come back to school. And he and Mark Payton both decided to come back to school. And Augie Garrido talks about how the center fielder and the pitcher have made such an impact on this team in terms of the focus on unselfish play, that when other players are interviewed, they cite Thornhill and Payton for kind of setting that tone. And how impressed the other players were that they came back, didn't go after the money, and felt like they had unsettled business with the Longhorns.
Well, and you couple that with their two best players. Thornhill's been their best pitcher, Payton their best player in center field, and that kind of integrity from your leaders is huge.
Ball 4. Let's send it down to Jamie.
Yeah, guys, both of them were actually drafted last season, but they, much consideration. They talked with each other. They talked with their family. They both decided to return for this senior season. They really felt it was important to get the program back to where it belongs and kind of show the underclassmen just the way things should be done at Texas. And Nate told me his decision was validated long before they made it to Omaha, but this is certainly icing on the cake. Not to mention both of them improved their draft status in this year's draft.
Yeah, Thornhill picked in the 13th round. Payton picked in the 7th round. Thornhill by the Phillies, Payton by the Yankees. Texas back in the College World Series for the first time since 2011. Muno squares.
And a lot of ways you can go here with Gerwitz charging hard from third base. You can, if you're comfortable deadening the ball down towards third, that is an option. Preferably you get this bunt towards the first base side with Clemens holding the runner on. Or I'd just like to see him swing the bat. We've talked about Munoz being one of the better hitters for the Anteaters this year.
Only a sophomore, struck out swinging his first time. Average of 291. And bunts foul again. So now in a 2-strike spot with nobody out and a man at first. Anteaters trying to even this score. Wynn really whipping here at TD Ameritrade. I mean, the flags are just straight out. I've seen some stoppages in play just to pick up some hot dog wrappers. Bunts that one, rolling, fair ball, and Thornhill throws to first. So with 2 strikes, Munoz gets the bunt down and a man into scoring position.
Well, good job of executing here with 2 strikes with the pressure on, and Munoz does get it down. Gets it down softly down that first baseline and does get a Anteater into scoring position again.
And again, Texas has already left 7. The Anteaters have left 3. A man in scoring position for Grant Palmer. There's the curve. This guy led off most of the year. And he's playing second, can also play left. Thornhill fires. And a swinging bunt back to the mound. Thornhill checks the runner, but he's going to advance, throw high, but over there Clemens keeps the base. Well done.
Yeah, good job here by Thornhill of, maybe there might have been a play at third, probably not though, and he saw that runner moving out of the corner of his eye, realized the out was extremely important. No need to put yourself in a potential to have a huge inning. He peaks and then doesn't execute real well on the throw. And did he keep the bag?
Paulino takes high. One more look. Clemens very good defensively.
Yes, he did. Good job.
Now 2-0 to Paulino with a man at third. Anteaters trying to even this score. Now both these teams try and win it with pitching and defense. McClanahan, the runner at third. Winner of this one will take on the winner of our nightcap, Louisville and Vanderbilt.
Louisville, the one returning program to the College World Series after losing their 2 games last year.
That's hit well right field, Shaw. And he's got it. And that is the inning. Anteaters leaving a man in scoring position in each of the first 4 innings. We go to the bottom of the 4th at TD Ameritrade Park in Omaha from the College World Series. Game 1, Texas leading UC Irvine 1-0. Now you see Augie Garrido, a guy who's both coached and played in the College World Series with Fresno State back in 1959. And back here, as per usual, Mike Gillespie, who has both won it as a coach and as a player. One of 2 guys to do that. And then as well, Dan McDonald at the Citadel. And then at Louisville, Brian O'Connor was the closer on that 91 Creighton team. Very good team, and has coached the Virginia Cavaliers to the CWS 3 different times. And then Mike Bianco was a catcher for LSU in '89. And he's taken Ole Miss to Omaha here in 2014. So these 2 guys who know each other very, very well. This is, I believe, the 25th all-time meeting between these 2 coaches.
Yep, and obviously dating back to the USC, Cal State Fullerton days. A lot of respect between these 2 men who go way back and have known each other, as we touched on, since their playing days.
Now they both joked about their ages. Gillespie 74, Augie Garrido 75. Mike Gillespie took USC to the World Series in '01, and he made the joke, they thought I was old then. I'm Methuselah now if I was old then. And Augie Garrido said that they should have brought the lineup cards out to home plate in motorized scooters. And there is actually the exchange of the lineup cards at home plate between 2 guys that really respect one another, as you said. And I know it sounds like a throwaway, but they've competed against one another for so long. Mike Gillespie talked about when they were each players that Larry Himes, who was a teammate of him, remember the former general manager, he was good friends with Augie Garrido. So a number of the players on USC, through Larry Himes, knew Garrido while he was at Fresno State. Bouncer to short. And that handled out there by Rabago. So here they go. Over 1,900 wins for Garrido. Mike Gillespie over 1,000. 5 national titles for Garrido. Gillespie winning it with USC. And again, the 25th all-time head-to-head matchup. And Augie Garrido with the advantage there.
Yeah, I think I contributed to a couple of those wins for Augie Garrido when he was at Fullerton and I was at SC.
Wait a second. You contributed to his wins?
to Augie's, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
That's the wrong side.
That's the wrong side. I think we lost, my freshman year, we lost both times to Cal State Fullerton.
Brooks Marlowe, the hitter. He's walked and he's singled.
And really has had 2 excellent at-bats. That single coming with 2 strikes. A good job of punching it the other way in the run-scoring inning for the Longhorns, and leading off the game with that walk. As Augie Garrido talked about before the game, the quality of his at-bats, the ability to get on base, despite not having a lot of speed, the reason he's at the top of this Longhorn lineup.
Morales tried for a quick inning, already at 71 pitches. That one served into left and grabbed out there by Alcantara.
Well, just like last inning, Boog, another opportunity to have a quick inning. Last inning, after getting 2 quick outs, though, Shaw singled, Madison Carter singled. They had to work real hard to get Casey Clemens out to get out of another jam. Here, critical, though, that he get this hitter if he has a chance to go deep into this ball game.
Johnson a walk and a strikeout. Flips the corner and evens the count. Morales back to work. And that one's spoiled by Johnson.
Well, with 2 strikes in his last at bat against Johnson, he went to that slider and got the chase. Different situation, because that was with runners in scoring position when he got that big strikeout. Let's see if he goes the same way.
To third, bad hop there for Sparks, and safe at first is Johnson. That thing hopped up and clipped him. A tough play for the third baseman.
Yeah, this will probably go as a hit. You know, interesting that he's playing that shallow, though. You know, Johnson, we talked about, who runs extremely well, but that's pretty far in with 2 strikes to be playing a hitter. And that ball, as you can see, really hops up, and not much of a chance, as it is ruled a hit for Ben Johnson.
So Morales not able to come up with his first 1-2-3 inning, and instead he'll deal with Mark Payton, who's 0 for 1. Fly ball left field, Alcantara, and that'll do it. Coming up, Jamie Sire will talk with the head coach of the Texas Longhorns, Augie Garrido.
What's going on around this count?
What we doing?
Back here in Omaha, Texas, with a 1-0 lead over UC Irvine. And Coach Nate Thornhill has done a good job today getting out of jams. What is your assessment of his performance?
He's pitching a good game, and his teammates are playing a good game behind him. I think that we've missed a couple of opportunities to score runs, so have they. And I think the nerves will settle down as the game goes along.
Speaking of those opportunities, you've left 8 men on base. What do you need to do to execute better in those situations?
Get a hit with men on base.
Simple as that, right?
It's as simple as that.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Yeah, pretty straightforward right there. You gotta deliver in one of those spots.
Yeah, and you know, as we've talked about before this ball game, you know, pitching and defense are likely to dominate the College World Series this year. And I think at the end, when we see the champion, it's who got those big hits when they had their chances. Both sides today have had them.
Yeah, you get a lot of guys on base, you got to cash it in.
Yeah.
Thornhill and the 0-1. You know, we talked about runs being at a premium if you were to sort of go offensively and deconstruct it. Runs are at a premium, and then the next thing, power is at a premium. So that's the thing that happens. So if you're waiting for the crooked number via the extra base hit, you might be waiting a while. That one past the diving Clemens as Alcantara goes inside out for a single.
Well, take it a step further, Boog. The crooked numbers are tough to come by when most all these teams are really playing for one run with the sacrifice bunt. They're always wanting to move runners up. At the end of the day, that makes an out and makes it very difficult to score multiple runs in an inning.
Yeah, Irvine with the UC Irvine with the leadoff man on. Teams have already combined for 4 sacrifice bunts today.
Well, and this is a spot where you understand it. You're down a run. You're at the bottom of your order. Castro's not a heavy hitter, and you've got your best hitters coming up with Sparks, Rabago, and Spencer, 1, 2, and 3. So this is a situation where I think you do want to set the table perhaps for your good hitters.
Towards first, rolling. Oh my goodness. Foul ball, and that is dangerous and not a real good decision by Casey Clemens.
Yeah, he got away with one there. I think you go pick up that ball and take the out. I mean, because if this happens to stay fair, and it's very close to staying fair, this could turn into disaster for the Longhorns, because not only does it not stop at the bag, but it continues to move on. So it probably would have allowed Alcantara to get all the way to third base, and you would have had a first and third situation. So a fortunate roll for the Texas Longhorns.
They're going to have him bunt with 2 strikes. Already seen it once today. Jonathan Munoz put down a sacrifice bunt with 2 strikes in the 4th. UC Irvine Anteaters, the only team of the 8 that had to go on the road to win in both regionals. In Corvallis, as they knocked off the 1 seed overall Oregon State, and then in Stillwater, knocking off Oklahoma State. Pulled the bat back, ripped it into center. Payton there to make the catch. Runner hung off the first, double play.
Well, I like the choice to put the game in motion here with 2 strikes. But it's an outstanding jump in center field by Mark Payton. And Alcantara doesn't do a real good job of reading this ball. If he reads it quickly, he maybe has a chance to get to scamper back. But he saw the ball off the bat. Wasn't sure if Payton got the proper jump. He got a great jump and a big double play for the Longhorns on a ball hit very sharply by Castro.
Yeah, that ball was hit hard. I'm going to roll the dice a little and take a shot at it. It didn't work. And Payton with a fine play. The 0-1. Hinojosa on the backhand. And that's that. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th, and coming up, Aaron Boone will talk with his former coach, Mike Gillespie. Now, my partner Aaron Boone, certainly familiar with the skipper of UC Irvine, Mike Gillespie. That number 19 that he wore throughout the minors and with the Yankees, a tribute to his former head coach. And he joins us downstairs. Mike Gillespie does.
Skipper, how you doing? Morales has struggled a little bit with his command. What have you seen out of him so far?
Well, just like you said, Boone, I mean, he was wired to begin the game, and but I think he's settled down. I think he's made good pitches over these last few innings. We're certainly alarmed by the number of pitches he's thrown. So it looks like it's going to be a short day no matter what we want when we get into an inning or so more.
You've had some offensive opportunities against Thornhill. What are you seeing right now from your hitters?
Well, you're right. We have had some opportunities. We really failed to capitalize, I think, particularly in that first inning. He's good. He's done a good job. I think he's done a great job mixing pitches. That changeup's been effective to our left-handers, and those right-handers, when they get down the can, do with that slider. But I think that I think we've put enough good swings on it, enough good at-bats together that I think that this game's a long way from over.
Well, appreciate you joining us, Skipper, and he was safe at first, by the way.
By the way, Boone. Yes, I know. Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, you got it, Mike Gillespie, the head coach of the UC Irvine Anteaters. The Longhorns leading this one 1-0. As we go to the bottom of the fifth. John Shelby, Aaron Boone, and Jamie Sire here at TD Ameritrade. And still to come tonight, 8 Eastern. It'll be Louisville and Vanderbilt. Carl Ravitch, Kyle Peterson, and Jessica Mendoza on the call for that. Tres Barrera now. And the freshman catcher takes upstairs.
Barrera's just had a little bit of a big swing going throughout the ball game so far. There, that running fastball in on the hands. It's a little big. We've seen him chase the slider away, and now Morales chasing him up and in with the fastball. And now as he gets that called strike and gets the 2 strikes, you probably look to see him try and expand the zone and try and get a chase here with 2.
Here's a 2-2 to Barrera. Towards third, Sparks handles. 1 up, 1 down. Fans, for more coverage of the College World Series, including interactive brackets and highlights, go to ncaa.com. Andrew Morales, the nation's leading strikeout pitcher. He's got 4 today. But right now, his Anteaters trail at 1-0. It doesn't seem like he's ever really settled into a groove, gotten totally comfortable.
No, it doesn't. But the credit to the kind of pitcher and competitor he is, he's sitting here trailing just 1-0 and hasn't really been on top of his game. But he has made some big pitches in big spots so far when he's been in trouble.
Yeah, Texas has left 8. You look at those high pitch counts. 83 total, 19 or more in 3 innings so far today. Towards the hole. Oh, diving stance. Sparks off the bag, safe at first. Almost a spectacular play at third by Taylor Sparks.
Well, Taylor Sparks continues to show the tools that have made him a major league prospect at third base, showing his a big guy, but shows his athleticism and his range here. That's a great play in the hole. I think he hurries a little bit. He's got plenty of time because the ball was hit sharply to really get up and set his feet. I think he rushed through that play once he made it, and that's why the throw was errant, but a great effort by the big third baseman.
They'll say E5, 1 out man at first. Aaron, the fielding portion of that play was spectacular. You see guys a lot of times in the infield overdive, and you don't always see them make plays where at full extension, that's where they're catching the ball.
Yeah, and his athleticism is really on display, and it's rare that you see a guy that size, over 6'2", 6'3", well over 200 pounds, be able to move the way he does. We're getting a first-hand look at why scouts believe there's a lot of upside. And that third base will continue to be his future. Oftentimes we'll see a third baseman in college sometimes have to move off the position, but that athletically and his skill set will allow him to stay there as he moves into professional baseball.
Shaw 2 for 2 with a double and a single. He scored the only run in the game. Did anybody ever try and move you or think about moving you anywhere?
Fortunately, no. I occasionally played in the middle of the infield, but probably wasn't quite good enough to play the middle every day.
Somewhere Barry Larkin is sitting there saying, that's absolutely right, Arn.
I had a good buddy standing next to me in Barry Larkin, so I didn't need to move over very often, unless he needed a blow.
Except every once in a while you'd agitate him by cutting in front of him to take ground balls away.
Yeah, me and Barry are great friends, but I agitated him a lot.
It's part of your skill set. Behind now 3-0 on Colin Shaw.
And you know, this is the inning now, that pitch count getting up around 90 and a pitch away from losing Shaw, that you might start to see some action in that anteater pen.
All 4.
So 2 on with 1 out. And again, teams haven't cashed in the opportunities, but base runner every inning.
Yeah, and it's one thing to throw 90, 100, 110 pitches or whatever it is, but for the most part, they've been stressful pitches for Morales because he has been in trouble. And pitchers will tell you all the time that, you know, if you're cruising along, you can get through an outing with more pitches. The more that's on the line on each pitch tends to take its toll as you get up in pitch count.
Madison Carter now 1 for 1. This guy, a senior on their team. We mentioned that selfless attitude that the Longhorns have. They're going to get some activity in the bullpen. It looks like Evan Manarino is going to go get loose. But we mentioned that selfless attitude. The Longhorns have 3 other seniors in Weston Hall, Alex Silver, and Jacob Phelps, all guys who started since they got here, and now they're on the bench, and they've handled it really well. Center field, Castro coming on. And there's 2 down. The runners will stay put.
Well, again, it seems like the UC Irvine outfielders are playing a little more shallow than even the Texas Longhorns, so it's going to be very difficult to dump anything in front of them. You couple that with Castro, who's an outstanding defensive center fielder. We look at that wind pretty much blowing straight in from right field. And actually right now it's blowing less than even it has most of the game. It's a pretty strong gust blowing straight in this afternoon.
So here's Casey Clemens with 2 down. Clemens 0 for 2.
Now the outfielders deepen up a little bit, especially to the pull side. Right fielder Chris Paulino, respecting the power of Clemens, is backed up a little bit, but still in left and center, pretty shallow.
Ball.
Misses low. Casey Clemens, just a freshman. His father, Roger, of course, pitched at the University of Texas.
And that's another sign of fatigue right there, Boog. That off-speed pitch just really just not even close, kind of spun out of his hand up and away. Sign of that arm perhaps getting a little fatigued, not releasing it out in front. Again, all these stressful pitches perhaps starting to take its toll.
Bluffs at second. Hinojosa wasn't wandering very far off second base.
And here is a look at that 1-1 pitch where he just tried to throw a breaking ball, as he's done a lot this afternoon, trying to get it to that outside corner. He just loses it, loses his mechanics a little bit.
Good stop by McClanahan.
Time called.
And now it's 3-1. So good hitters count for Casey Clemens. 2 on, 2 outs.
Let's go. Throw strikes. Let's go, baby.
Chris Rabago, the shortstop, coming in and just urging on Morales as Gerwitz waits in the on-deck circle, hoping to get an opportunity, hoping Clemens can extend the inning. In fact, he was taken all the way.
Yeah, interesting there. 3-1 count. Does that get him back to the slider? The slider is what ultimately has gotten Casey Clemens when he's been able to locate it, start it on the strike zone and break it down and in. That's the pitch he's gotten to swing over the top of.
Towards first, handled by Spence, and that's the inning. So Spence are able to make the play, and Morales gets out of another jam. Back here in Omaha, check it out. First inning. And Morales really able to get out of a jam. Aaron Boone seems like all game long. Second inning now, he was able to handle himself.
Yeah, this could very easily have been a disastrous outing thus far, but he continues to make pitches at the most important time. And as a result, despite not having his best stuff, despite struggling a little bit with his command, we sit here now in the 6th inning in just a 1-0 ball game. So he's certainly given his team a chance despite not being on top of his game. And that's a tribute to what a talented and great college pitcher he has been.
So now Thornhill will go to work. And misses to Rabago. Rabago, Spencer, McClanahan, 2-3-4 in the UC Irvine order. Texas leading at 1-0. The only run of the game in the second on a safety squeeze by Zane Gerwitz.
And that was a play that Morales almost made. I think he rushed it a little bit, and that's why it got past his glove and allowed that first and only run to score.
Center field, Payton barely has to move. And there's one away. There's Roger Clemens, the Rocket, checking out the Longhorns, and his son Casey, the first baseman, a part of that World Championship team in 1983.
They said it's rare that he misses a game. I think he missed a couple in the regional, some commitments that he had, but they say he is at just about every single game, and there's some wonder if he'd be here tonight, but here he is rooting on his son and his alma mater.
Now I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at it, and this might be wrong, but you see Casey wearing number 42. That's 21 plus 21.
Ooh, they're really reaching there.
Yeah. I like going addition as opposed to 21 times 2. But addition's a little easier. In the air, this one a mile high. Payton and Shaw to be Payton as that thing was really knocked down by the wind.
Well, I'll say you continue to show off your math skills, which is impressive. But I think a bit of a reach in that spot there, Booth.
Okay. Great crowd here for our opener of the 2014 College World Series. John Sciambi, Aaron Boone, Jamie Sire. There'll be more math for both of you later on in the broadcast. A lot of Texas fans, Anteaters marching with their fans. And then one of the great things about this event is, and they did something on the local news about how the locals in Omaha figure out what team they're going to support, and everybody will pick a different team to kind of throw their support behind.
The buzz around this event, and just you and I riding over to the ballpark today from the hotel to see the excitement, to see what an awesome event this has become. You talked with someone from Denver that just said, no, we're just here because we want to come to the College World Series and be a part of it. We don't have a team necessarily. It is a special event. I know I'm personally very excited to be a part of.
Yeah, history happens here. 4th year at TD Ameritrade Park, all those years at Rosenblatt. Hit hard, but just, I mean, all the great players in the history of the CWS. And this year, a little different look in terms of the teams that are in it. You got Louisville back, Virginia, and Vanderbilt plus Ole Miss, and then the 3 Texas teams, TCU, Texas, Texas Tech, and then Shaw right there. 3 outs in the air. It's the first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Welcome back to the NCAA College World Series presented by Capital One. And here in Omaha, we go to the bottom of the 6th, and the Longhorns lead the Anteaters 1-0. Time now for a pick-you-up moment of the game. It's brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Only 1 run in this game, and it came from Zane Gerwitz. Safety squeeze in the 2nd. Colin Shaw in to score. That's where we are. 1-0 Texas.
And you saw Morales there in his haste to get the ball to home plate, just kind of pulled up a little bit early, and that ball just squirted right by his glove. It would have been interesting had he come up with it, how close a play it would have been at home plate. I think it would have been real close. But it would have taken a perfect play.
Yep. And now Zane Gerwitz, who's got that RBI infield single, to 3rd, knocked down by Sparks, who's been busy.
Yeah, playing in there. They call it the hot corner. There's a good look at why. Playing in, protecting against that potential drag bunt. This ball gets hit sharply to him. What I love about this play by Sparks is he knocks it down, and there's no panic. He realizes now he's got plenty of time. Get the ball, set your feet, and make a strong throw. The ball he dove for earlier, he rushed a little bit. That one really slowed things down after he knocked it down.
And Morales pumps in a strike to Brooks Marlowe.
I've really been impressed with Marlowe's at bats. Just looks very comfortable up there, recognizes and takes pitches extremely well. As a result, it's led to an on-base percentage almost 400 on the year.
Oh, that's out.
Andrew Morales in an even 100 pitches. And Mike Gillespie joined us earlier. He said, whatever happens, it looks like it's going to be a short day for him. That's funny. There's different definition to that. You know, you look at the professional level. I mean, he's got a pretty good chance to give him 6. That wouldn't be considered a short day at the pro level, but they're used to him getting a lot deeper. As you mentioned, he's really battled today. Most pitches he's thrown this year, 116.
Yeah, which tells you this is almost certainly it for him. Should he get through the 6th inning, and should he get in trouble, we might see Manarino in this ball game.
Oh, that's out.
And again, the Anteaters within striking distance. Mike Gillespie at some point is going to have a decision to make. He's got his lefty Evan Manarino warm. Strikeout there does Andrew Morales. That's his 5th.
Well, we don't see Brooks Marlowe expand the strike zone too much, but here with 2 strikes, 3-2 count. This ball clearly off the plate away. You see some frustration out of Marlowe as this 2-seam fastball just kind of starts on the outer half, maybe just off the plate, and just runs away. And Marlowe frustrated that he expanded his zone there, which probably would have been ball 4.
And Johnson spoils the first pitch from Morales. Johnson has walked, struck out, and come up with a single. He can really run. In the air, left side, Rabago onto the grass. And that is the inning. Morales gets them 1-2-3 for the first time today. We're headed to the 7th. Texas up 1-0.
Get ready, 'cause here I come. You're gonna wish you never took me on. Get ready, 'cause here I come. Once I start, you'll know where I'm from.
Now we go to the 7th inning here in Omaha. Texas leading UC Irvine 1-0. It's the NCAA College World Series presented by Capital One. There's Jonathan Munoz. Munoz didn't like that call. Pitch looking to dart down and outside of the strike zone.
It definitely looked down and away, but I think Barrera, perhaps the ball took him down and away and made the pitch look a little worse than it probably actually was.
Thornhill here into the 7th. In the early going, the Anteaters with some scoring opportunities.
Oh, that's out.
You look at his ERA coming in, it was 1.57. And we touched on he closed in the early going. As Munoz is gone. He had one start April 27th, did Thornhill, where against Oklahoma State in 3 1/3 he gave up 7 runs. If you take out that start, his ERA is 0.95.
And there's a good look at that straight changeup we talked about. He hasn't thrown a ton of them this afternoon, but there with 2 strikes, one of his best of the day. Munoz well out in front.
And Thornhill's done a good job here.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been efficient. That's pitch number 84.
And there's now some action in that Longhorn bullpen. So with the Curtis, the righty, Travis Duke, the lefty. Curtis is usually their closer. So perhaps getting ready. Should Thornhill get in any trouble here, or possibly ready for an 8th inning duty?
Well, they've gotten exactly what they wanted out of Thornhill. I think they were hoping for about 6 from him. Slice down the right side. Nice grab down there by a fan. Looks like a UVA fan. Got himself a souvenir. Augie Garrido's led the Longhorns to the College World Series. It's the 35th time in program history that they've been here. They've won it 6 times. Augie himself has won it 5 times. 3 at Cal State Fullerton, 2 with Texas. Let's go down to Jamie.
Yeah, guys, you mentioned his titles as a head coach. He also went there as a player here in Omaha. He speaks very highly of just this entire experience. But unfortunately, when he was a player, it was his throwing error that lost the game for his team that year. They finished third. He told me he remembers sitting on the curb waiting for the bus, just crying his eyes out. So when he won his first title here as a manager in 1979, he said he hopped right over that same exact curb and said, "I got you this time."
Oh, ouch. Just when you hear that, young guys, whether you're talking about the College World Series or watching the Little League World Series, it's painful.
Yeah.
In spots like that where a kid makes an error or a mistake. In the air for Ben Johnson, and he puts that one away. Nathan Thornhill, outstanding job, 7 shutout innings. Coming up on Sunday, a little Sunday night baseball for you, brought to you by Taco Bell, 8 Eastern, as the Braves and the Angels get together. Albert Pujols, Mike Trout and company going on the road, interleague play. So those two teams get together Sunday night baseball at 8 Eastern, also live on Watch ESPN. So the day is done for Andrew Morales, and Evan Manarino will take over, the left-hander.
Yeah, fastball, slider, change, and curve. Slider is his best secondary pitch, and you can see on for the 22nd time. Good earned run average, and came up extremely big in the regionals. You see a great strikeout to walk ratio as the afternoon is over for Morales.
Goes 106 pitches, never totally seemed comfortable, but let's walk it back for a second. 6 innings, 1 run. I mean, that's pretty good work right there. I know they'd like him to have gotten a little deeper in the game, but even still, he is more than giving them a chance. Mike Gillespie's team in the early going, squandering scoring opportunities. They left a man in scoring position each of the first 4 innings.
How about Mark Payton here, yet to reach base in what could be his last at bat of the game.
Yeah, 3-4-5 do up Payton, Barrera, Hinojosa. 101 straight. The conference record.
The world record.
Had that amazing spot to extend that streak against Baylor. They needed 5 guys to come up in the 9th inning. It ended up bases loaded, 2 outs, 2 strikes, and he doubled and cleared the bases to extend the streak. Tough kid from the south side of Chicago. The 2-1. Swing and a high fly ball. Castro right there. That might end that on base streak for Mark Payton. How about our brackets coming up tonight? 8 Eastern, it'll be Louisville and Vanderbilt. And then tomorrow, 3 Eastern, Texas Tech and TCU. And 8 Eastern for Ole Miss and Virginia. TCU and Virginia, the only 2 national seeds in this College World Series. That's the fewest since they expanded the field in 1999. So 3 Texas teams. The Horns, the Horned Frogs. And then you got the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
How about a good look at that curveball from Manarino. Big, slow, 71 mile an hour. Feel for that pitch, dumping it in for this first strike to Barrera.
Tres Barrera 0 for 3. I think they're going to say that hit him. Yeah, it did. Mike Gillespie coming out.
Well, after slowing him down with that big, slow breaking ball for the first strike, trying to stick this fastball in just a little too far in and see if it does indeed catch Barrera on the foot.
No. Now the one thing, I mean, it looked like it hit between the legs, didn't it?
Yeah, well, between the legs. No, I think it went in front of his.
Well, I'm saying from that angle.
Oh, yeah.
Over the front foot, in front of the back foot.
Yes.
Mike Gillespie going out. The audio there, I'm pretty sure that Tony Walsh said ball. And then Barrera kind of pointed as if to say that hit me.
Well, Barrera, whether it did or did not, did a good job of selling it. He kind of went right into his trot to first base. And here's another look at it as, yeah.
That didn't even come close.
See a little wink there at first base, like maybe I got away with one.
Go ahead and say.
Or pulled the fast one.
No, maybe. So he talked his way into a base right there. That's pretty big.
Balls down.
So here we go, 3-1. Hinojosa 0 for 3 now. Manarino. He was late on that fastball. Colin Shaw's had a day, 2 for 2 with a walk.
Well, now you got Mitch Merton warming up in the pen for UC Irvine, so Manarino definitely on to face this hitter, and at least the lefty.
Smacked into left field for a base hit. 2 on with 1 out.
Yeah, this pitch is left up, and Hinojosa just hammers this ball to left field, trying to get that fastball down and in, and leaves it up and actually out of the zone. You see Hinojosa go up there and get it and hammer it, and Mike Gillespie now is going to come to the mound. Wonder if that's all. You would think at least he'd stay in to face the lefty Shaw and then maybe go get Merton, but it's a pretty long, slow walk for Mike Gillespie.
Manarino, the junior. Their ace, Andrew Morales, went 6, gave up 1 run. Pretty imperative to keep this a 1-run game. We talk about UC Irvine, and
well, now it's Evan Brock, who's actually one of their starting pitchers, their number 3 starter, who they thought might be available for an inning or for a couple of batters should they need him in relief today. But Merton is now down and Brock up.
That is a great mustache.
Or something. Yeah, that is impressive.
I mean, you can go to a store and not buy a mustache that good. Here's Shaw now. Big curve. He stayed back and swung through it.
And you can see Gillespie was out there for a long time, knowing he needs Manarino to get this left-handed hitter out who's had a huge day. Probably some tough talk there. Hey, I need you to settle in and execute your pitch and get into the strike zone.
Got him 0-2. Outfield very shallow. And right now playing the other way. Trying to cut down another run at the plate if there's a hit.
Yeah, and that's one of the advantages of defensively playing in this yard. When you can move in, obviously you take away a lot of hits in front, but when you do dump one in, difficult for the guy from second to score. Really good take by Shaw there, who after getting a big curveball to start for a strike and then swinging through a slider, Manarino executes the pitch he wants. He starts this slider on the outside part of the plate, breaks it down the way off, but Shaw recognizes it, is able to lay off and live to see another pitch.
Now the 1-2. That got him. Good pitch by Manarino. And
well, he went all breaking balls lefty on lefty here. He starts him with the big slow curveball we've seen a couple times for strike one that he swings through, then the slider he swings through, tries to get him to chase the slider off the plate, and then probably a little bit generous on the outside corner. Shaw able to lay off it again, but Manarino gets the call and gets a big second out.
Danny Babona out of the dugout, and the pitching coach will make the move to the pen. So we get a pitching change here in Omaha. Longhorns leading this one 1-0. Back here in Omaha, TD Ameritrade Park, the NCAA College World Series presented by Capital One, and the Longhorns lead the Anteaters 1-0. UC Irvine makes a pitching change, and they go to the right-hander, Evan Brock.
Evan Brock, normally a starting pitcher, the number 3 starter for this Anteater club, on in relief in a big spot here and trying to keep this a 1-run ball game. A 4-pitch mix that you'd expect from a starting pitcher. Fastball, slider, curve, and change. That fastball routinely in the mid-upper 80s. On to get a big out for the Anteaters here.
His job in this spot to get the DH, Madison Carter, right-hand bat, who's 1 out of 2 with a sacrifice bunt. And done good work with 2 outs. Barrera at second, Hinojosa at first. Texas try to add an insurance run. Only run of the game back in the second on a safety squeeze. That catches the corner. Clanahan almost threw it over Brock's head there.
Fortunately, Grant Palmer was moving to back up like middle infielders should. Anytime the pitcher throws back, you have the middle infielder should be converging on second base should something like that happen on an overthrow.
Tapper out front of the plate, McClanahan, and that's that. The Longhorns leave a couple. We're headed to the 8th in Omaha, and Texas leads. Let's take a look at today's Capital One Cup impact performance. And on the mound today, Nathan Thornhill getting to start, his 15th overall, and Aaron Boone razor sharp.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Fastball, a couple of different breaking balls he's featured. We talked about the changeup that he hasn't actually had to throw a ton, but there you see. Pitch efficient here through 7 innings, and right now has a chance to be in position for a big first College World Series win here for the Texas Longhorns.
He set down his last 8 in a row. Texas 6th in the nation in team ERA this year. In the postseason, the team ERA is 1.15. That's before this game. First one to Alcantara is in for a strike. 8-9-1 in the Anteater order. Irvine with just 4 hits. Texas a run on 7 hits. Each side with an error in this one. Base hit left field. Second hit of the game for Adam Alcantara.
Well, Alcantara hitting at the bottom of the order, came into this game hitting .315, now well up over .320. And the third baseman in, respecting the bunt. This sharp grounder right past him, a dive from Gerwitz, but into left field to lead off the eighth here for the Anteaters, and now a bunt situation for Castro.
First base side, Thornhill. And a man into scoring position for UC Irvine.
Well, if you're UC Irvine, it's another opportunity, and it's an opportunity for your best hitters. You've got the top of the order now with Sparks, and you knew it was going to be a low-scoring game. And if you're Mike Gillespie and the Anteaters, you know, this is the situation you want. An opportunity to tie this ball game, do some damage with your best hitters now coming up to bat against Thornhill.
First one to Sparks. That's well hit left center field. Peyton on the move, racing after it. That'll touch down and in to score. Alcantara. Sparks for third. And he's in. And we are tied up. Taylor Sparks putting a charge into one.
Well, Mike Gillespie talked to us in the pregame meeting that if they're going to have success in the College World Series, Taylor Sparks going to probably have to do some damage, and he gets a breaking ball here on the first pitch and does put a charge into it, and he shows off the entire skill set, the power we know about, but look at the speed from the big third baseman that's made him a second-round pick this year. He sees the runner's going to score easily around third, picks that up, and then doesn't break stride, gets to third base with less than 2 outs, and a chance for Irvine now to take the lead as they are loving it on the bench. Wow.
That is a face right there.
Oh my gosh.
So time called. Taylor Sparks, 9 triples, tops in the nation. And he showed off the athleticism defensively and now offensively. John Curtis out there in the bullpen. He's just pacing as Skip Johnson is out there. Game 1 of the 2014 College World Series. John Shambi, Aaron Boone, Jamie Sire here. Our nightcap, 8 Eastern. It'll be Louisville and Vanderbilt. Carl Ravitch, Kyle Peterson, and Jessica Mendoza on the call. We are tied at 1, top 8. And the Longhorns make the move to the pen. Curtis will come in with 1 out and a man at third. And still a really good effort by Nathan Thornhill.
He pitched outstanding pitching into the 8th inning here, but a couple of big swings by UC Irvine now, and you see the Texas fans appreciating the effort from Thornhill. But now Texas going to their closer in need of they could use a strikeout in this spot, Boog.
Yeah, Thornhill, who closed in the early going, and we're sure about the health of this guy, but the right-hander will take over. John Curtis.
A 6th-round pick from to the Minnesota Twins in this year's draft. Fastball, slider, change. Slider's his primary secondary pitch, but it's a fastball that'll get up into the mid-90s. You see on for the 26th time. 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. More math for you, Boog. And on in a big spot here, needing to get a big second out with that runner at third and for the Anteaters.
So now Thornhill, after 7 1/3, will have to just stay and watch. He's still responsible for Sparks, the runner at third. And an opportunity for UC Irvine to take the lead. All right, rest of our brackets we mentioned. Louisville, Vanderbilt coming up tonight, 8 Eastern. Tomorrow, 3 Eastern. 2 more Texas teams. Texas Tech and TCU. 8 Eastern, it's Ole Miss and Virginia.
Well, now, Boogan, you'll start to see the cat and mouse a little bit between Garrido and Mike Gillespie. Obviously, both teams very adept at the bunt. This is a situation where you very well could see some kind of a squeeze, safety squeeze, drag bunt with Rabago, who handles the bat well. You know the infield is going to be playing in for the Texas Longhorns.
Yeah, Rabago is their best bunter, 23 sacrifice bunts.
Yeah, so a lot of options here. And with the wind the way it is, a sac fly is difficult, but the one thing going for the Anteaters here is that Sparks, a very good runner, is down there at third. Still, that Texas outfield is playing kind of deep. I think too deep here with that go-ahead run there at third base and that wind blowing in. I think you've got to move in here. Rabago, not a guy with a lot of power. I think you got to force him to hit it over your head.
Back up the middle and through. Base hit Rabago, and UC Irvine has taken a 2-1 lead here in the 8th. How do you like that? 2 runs here in inning number 8, and the Anteaters are on top.
Well, you know the closer comes in and wants to get ahead. So Rabago thinks, I'm going to be aggressive early in this count. He gets a fastball he can handle and pounds it back through the middle. And all of a sudden, the Anteaters have crawled back to take the lead. Trying to go down the way with that fastball. A little tail, just tails over the heart of the plate. And just out of the reach of Curtis on the mound and back through the middle. And you see the Anteaters going crazy in the first base dugout.
Mike Gillespie said it to us, we're trying to win 1-0. If we can't win 1-0, we're trying to win 2-1. And here we are. 2-1 Anteaters. The other way, that's a base hit. Johnson over to pick it up. Rabago will stop at second as the throw comes in there. They had 4 hits through 7 innings. They've got 4 hits here in the 8th.
Well, Mike Gillespie talked about they had some opportunities through the first half of this game, just hadn't capitalized, but here in the 8th, they finally were able to get to Thornhill, who was tremendous today, and now getting to the Longhorn closer with back-to-back sharp hits.
Texas certainly not feeling for UC Irvine in terms of guys left on base. The Longhorns have left 12 here today. Jerry McClanahan 0 for 2. A tight one here for our opener in Omaha. In 14 College World Series. And with the count 2-0. Time call. Duke the lefty, Cooper the righty getting loose. And Skip Johnson back out there. Well, for more coverage of the College World Series, including interactive brackets and highlights, go check out NCAA.com.
Skip Johnson just trying to get his closer, Curtis, to just settle down a little bit. Remember, this is the first game of the College World Series. Curtis's first time in right now. This is a huge stage. Just struggling a little bit there with his command. I think he'd try and go to that fastball to the outer half. And if you're McClanahan, I think you just set your sights knowing he wants to get a strike here. Look in one spot, probably away or down the middle of the plate. Look to drive something.
Got a decent pitch to hit there and blocked it off to the right.
Yeah, I think it just ran back just enough on the inner part to maybe tie him up a hair. Just a little bit late on that ball. You see him wanting to go down away. Watch the run back. Turned into a good pitch to hit, but maybe just a little more in as McClanahan was kind of diving out over the plate.
And a bluff at second. UC Irvine with 2 here in the 8th. And the Anteaters have taken a 2-1 lead. Rabago out there at second. Spencer the runner at first.
McClanahan definitely trying to work the ball up the middle and the other way. Now he's got to that 2-strike point, and Curtis with an excellent slider. Now that pitch comes back into play, and a pitch he certainly has to respect. You might get him, see Curtis try to get him to chase that slider.
Got him looking. Curtis with the strikeout.
Well, Skip Johnson with a good visit to the mound, because it does appear to have settled Curtis down as he kind of front hips this little breaking ball after getting a couple of good fastballs fouled off. Gets himself back to even and then freezes McClanahan with a good breaking ball for strike 3.
And now it's Jonathan Munoz. They won the clincher of their Super Regional in Stillwater 1-0 against Oklahoma State as Morales threw a 5-hit shutout. Munoz drove in the only run of the game, an RBI double in the first. 0 for 2 today with a sac bunt and a couple of strikeouts. Anteaters with 2 here in the 8th. And UC Irvine with a 1-run lead. Curtis ahead, 0-2. And the righty deals. The other way, base hit. Rabago to third, on his way to the plate. Here's the throw, cut off. Run scores, tag at third, out. UC Irvine picking up 3 in the 8th. And the Anteaters on top 3-1.
Just too good a pitch, Boog Shambi with 2 strikes. A fastball up and out over the plate, and Munoz drives it to left field as we take a look at Taylor Sparks. The big triple in the gap that tied the game. The Rabago base hit back up the gut that would give him the lead. And then with 2 outs and 2 strikes, the big hit from Munoz to make it a 2-run game, Anteaters.
Now we go to the bottom of the 8th in Omaha and here at TD Ameritrade Park. The Anteaters with 3 in their half of the 8th. Take a look at this last play, Aaron Boone.
Well, it was a sharp single to left and a good job of charging this ball. And I think the right move by Gerwitz as the ball was dying a little bit to cut the ball and take the out. I don't think that ball gets to home plate in a timely manner, but again, I think Texas outfielders, especially with 2 strikes and to the off field, I think could have been playing a little more shallow, which would have led to probably a play at the plate.
Right here it's Casey Clemens, 8-9-1. Clemens, Gerwitz, and Marlowe in the Longhorns order. So Texas. And Augie Garrido spoke with Jamie Sy early in the game saying we need to get a hit with men in scoring position, but now ruining those opportunities even more so as they've left a dozen on base. A run on 7 hits, but just 2 out of 12 with men in scoring position.
We'll see if Brock tries to go to that breaking ball now after off-speed pitch away there, trying to get the frozen fastball in the inside corner. They've gotten Clemens to chase this breaking ball.
Just missed right there.
Where they've started it on the plate and try and bury it down and into that left-hander. They try and go to that inside corner again here with the fastball. As you can see, just off the plate in, a good take by Clemens extending this at bat.
Clemens spoiling that one.
Clemens all year has been outstanding at getting on base despite a .220 average on the season. 36 walks, so that on-base percentage up over .340 into this game.
Roller right side, Palmer handles, 1 up, 1 down. So 1 away, and the base is empty. Evan Brock on the third pitcher used. That great mustache, and well, it got us thinking some of the all-time mustaches. What do you think of famous mustaches? I mean, go ahead, Magnum PI. Tom Selleck, right?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be one of them. I'm Ron Burgundy. And then Mario.
Oh, we're not done.
What do you mean?
We're not done with Mario. We got some more.
All right.
Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Potato Head. That's what they call him.
And that's what they call him, Mr. Brock. No longer Mr. Brock. Mr. Potato Head to his teammates.
That's not right.
I think he's enjoying it just fine. 5th-year senior at the College World Series.
I love that. Just our director, Mike Roig. Give me mustache on 3, go 3. Give me mustache on 4, go 4. He's finding some good ones, too. Well, how about UC Irvine, a team that has been offensively challenged for a lot of this year, Aaron, and they come up with a crooked number in the 8th, 3 runs.
Well, Taylor Sparks, they felt like they needed him to come up with a big hit, a big extra base hit in this ballpark. He has. That's the difference so far.
Taylor Sparks today, Mike Gillespie was really raving about him. That's hammered left field. Alcantara didn't have to move. And there's 2 down, but Sparks, I guess the way I'd put it, I get it.
Absolutely. This is both our first time seeing him in person, and well said. You do. I mean, he leaps off the screen, and you know, I always have a soft spot, or I like to watch third baseman, especially as a former third baseman, to see how athletic he is for such a big guy, the way he moves around at third, the speed around the bases, and then obviously the extra base hit power.
Your dad played with a pretty good third baseman.
Yeah.
Number 20.
Yeah.
Star at Ohio, Mike Schmidt.
And speaking of that, congratulations, Jimmy Rollins broke the Phillies all-time hits record today.
Passing Mike Schmidt.
Yeah.
Mentioned your dad, Bob, who played all those years as a catcher in the big leagues, and he, of course, caught at Stanford.
Third baseman at Stanford.
Oh, he was a third baseman at
Yeah.
Stanford. He didn't catch it all?
No.
My mistake.
Yep. Matter of fact, my dad and Mike Schmidt came up through the minor leagues together. Mike played shortstop. My dad played third. Eventually, they moved that, and
a couple of hops. Palmer handles. And good work by Mr. Potato Head. Evan Brock, good job. Irvine leading at 3-1.
The NCAA College World Series is presented by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn 1.5% cash back on every purchase.
Welcome back to the NCAA College World Series presented by Capital One. As we get things kicked off, first game of the 2014 College World Series. Been a good one. 1-0 Texas until the 8th. UC Irvine came up with 3 as we go to the 9th. 3-1 Anteaters. And it'll be Grant Palmer, Chris Polino, and Adam Alcantara against John Curtis. Palmer doubled in the second. He's 1 out of 3. Only 2 national seeds here at this College World Series. Virginia and TCU, both those teams will be in action tomorrow. TCU will play Texas Tech at 3 Eastern. And Virginia will have Ole Miss tomorrow night at 8 Eastern. Our nightcap today, I guess our nightcap would be tonight, wouldn't it? Soft liner, and that'll fall in for a hit. Tonight it'll be Louisville and Vanderbilt at 8 Eastern. Second hit of the game for Grant Palmer. Irvine now with 10 hits in the game. Yeah, so the Commodores and the Cardinals going head to head, and then Texas Tech and TCU, Ole Miss, Virginia tomorrow.
Well, probably another bunt situation here for the Anteaters. Leadoff runner on. You see him squaring around, setting up. Just trying to tack on a little insurance tally here in the 9th. Be interesting, Boog, to see what Irvine does in the 9th with now Brock on. If they leave him out there potentially for his 3rd inning, they've got the save leader in college baseball in Sam Moore in the bullpen, but he has kind of struggled down the stretch, not used much at all in the regionals. Be interesting to see what Gillespie and the Anteaters decide to do from a pitching standpoint in the 9th.
Yeah, you mentioned Moore struggling. National saves leader, but so that's Litchfield, and Moore is losing. That's a pretty good bunt. And a good job by Curtis to get the out.
Yeah, a real good job by Curtis, because once this gets by him, a lot of times you'll see a player or a pitcher panic because they don't, but he realized he still had enough time. He continued to track it. And this actually is not an easy play that he turns in a pretty good play to get that out at first base. Good play by Curtis, good execution by Polino.
Alcantara up here to hit. He's had a good day, 2 out of 3. Palmer, the runner at second. And a curve for a strike.
Yeah, and that's a pitch that Curtis got a big strikeout in last inning. That pitch where he'll start it at the right-hander and then break it back over the inside corner, kind of freezing the right-handed hitter. He got McClanahan last inning here. for strike one against Alcantara.
Wouldn't chase that time. Now the count 1-2. Slice that the other way. Anteaters trying to add to their lead. Alcantara in a 1-2 hole. Paints the outside corner. Got him 93 with that heater.
Well, just really good pitching there from Curtis. Couple big breaking balls for called strikes. And now just paints that outside corner. Perhaps a generous outside corner, but hits the glove of Barrera and gets a big second out here for the Longhorns.
2 away, man in scoring position, and it's Justin Castro. Swings through that.
Well, both pitchers now down in the Irvine bullpen, which tells you this may be Brock's game to finish.
Down to swing through again, 0-2. Longhorns led it 1-0 until the 8th when the Anteaters got 3 runs. Sparks would be next if Castro can reach. And now he steps off the backside of the rubber. Right through that one, struck him out. And that's the inning. Last chance for the Longhorns. 2, 3, and 4 coming up in the order. Ben Johnson, Mark Payton, Tres Barrera. The Longhorns down by 2. Back here in Omaha, John Chambie, Aaron Boone, and Jamie Sire. Game 1 of the 2014 College World Series. Here's what we have. Nathan Thornhill did good work, but eventually in the 8th, the Longhorns up 1-0, and UC Irvine getting 3 big runs. Big night for Taylor Sparks, 3 for 4 with a double, a triple, and an RBI. And here's Augie Garrido between innings trying to rally the troops.
Basically probably just saying, hey, we got the middle of our order coming up. Let's just string together quality at bats and maybe give ourselves an opportunity to grab this game back.
And there's a strike. Ben Johnson in this one, 1 out of 3. Longhorns needing to rally. Winner of this one will take on the winner of Vanderbilt and Louisville. That's later tonight at 8 Eastern. Right there, 1-2. Brock back to work. Got him looking. Good time for his first strikeout. 1 away in the 9th.
Well, just perfect execution. You see catcher jump outside on that outside corner, a bit generous, but anytime the pitchers have demonstrated they could hit the glove, they've gotten a couple extra inches off the plate. Great fastball by Brock to start off this 9th inning.
And there's a strike to Mark Payton. The NHRA Thunder Valley Nationals qualifying coming up at the end of our broadcast. Well, Mark Payton with that 101 straight game streak of reaching base, that's on the line, but really, I think more importantly, Longhorns 2 outs away from losing the opener to College World Series.
And Brock is locked in with that fastball, throwing it where he wants. That obviously just a waste pitch. I think a little too high and out of the zone. Got that 2-run lead. You have great feel for that fastball. Continue to pound that strike zone. Maybe go in off the plate, try and get that call right now.
Slices that one foul out of play. How about Evan Brock, by the way? 5 batters he has faced. He's gotten them all. This year, 16 appearances, all as a starter. So he's not used to this role. Not to mention the fact that he came into the game with 2 guys on base. So it's not like he comes in, starts a clean inning, and gets to work out of the windup. 2-2 now.
Well, Payton here showing you the kind of hitter he is, falling behind, couple perfectly located pitches from Brock. Spoils one. Now he's back. He's got himself back into the count.
Magnificent player. Got him to swing through that, and the Longhorns down to their final out. Augie Garrido's team's going to look back at all the opportunities that they had.
Well, Brock just challenging him with a fastball up and out of the zone, and this time Payton's not able to lay off the fastball thrown by the fine center fielder.
Ball 1 to Tres Barrera.
Well, there's just a courtesy breaking ball. I think you're going to now get right back to that fastball that Brock feels very good about and is throwing where he wants. And with a 2-run lead and 2 outs, it's time to fill up that zone.
The 1-1. And a slider missed.
No surprise he'd go with that pitch there. Now if you're Barrera, pretty much know he's going to challenge a fastball probably to the outside part of the plate.
Fouled that off McClanahan. And the Anteaters 1 strike away from an opening round win. Winner of this one will take on the winner of the nightcap between Louisville and Vanderbilt. The Anteaters down late, rallied for 3 in the 8th. Got him looking ball game. UC Irvine rallying late, and the Anteaters beat the Longhorns 3-1. Quite a win for Mike Gillespie's team.
Well, outstanding pitching performance. Morales didn't necessarily have his best stuff, but only gave up 1 run. And Taylor Sparks, their outstanding third baseman, the 2nd-round pick of the Reds, came up huge. His skill set was on display, and a huge come from behind over the Anteaters.
How about the bullpen, specifically Evan Brock, as he ends up getting all 7 guys that he faced.
Yeah, normally a starter. He finished in style today for the Anteaters, spotting that fastball. Great show by him.
Brock gets all 7 guys he faces, strikes out the side to end it. All right, check out our brackets. UC Irvine awaiting the winner of tonight's game between Louisville and Vanderbilt. That'll be at 8 Eastern, and still to come tomorrow, TCU and Texas Tech and Virginia and Ole Miss. UC Irvine wins it. The final here 3-1 as they beat Texas. Up next, Ford NHRA Thunder Valley Nationals qualify. The CWS continues tonight at 8 Eastern, Louisville and Vanderbilt. For Aaron Boone, Jamie Sire, and our whole crew, this is John Shambi. So long from TD Ameritrade Park.